At his first inauguration in the height of the Great Depression, Franklin Roosevelt made one of his most memorable remarks. He said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Well, what was he getting at? He was talking about how fear can become so intense and so controlling that it keeps us from doing things that we otherwise might do to get ourselves out of a difficulty, or sometimes just to enjoy life, to get the most out of our lives. Fear really is a double-edged sword. We certainly need it. Just about every animal, I think, has some capacity for fear, and it's usually used to avoid imminent harm, to get out of the harm's way, to make an escape while it's still possible to do that. That's a good use of fear. It's really useful in conjunction with prudence, where we make our decisions based on thought. Obviously, in the heat of imminent risk, we don't have a lot of time for that, so we react very quickly. And that's where our fear instinct probably saves our lives, as it wouldn't otherwise if we just sat around and thought about it. But in many other instances, fear can in fact be mediated by thought. What do we have to do to get over the possibility of the worst possible outcome, which is usually what's behind our fears? Our fears that are unfounded on an imminent threat can really limit us in many ways. It can deprive us of happiness. Sometimes we avoid relationships because of fear. Perhaps we've been scorned or abandoned in the past, and we feel we can't trust anybody. We are afraid of somehow being rejected once again. And so we let that fear control our lives in ways that keep us away from getting to know people, making new friends, seizing opportunities. Fear can be used against us because of the way we, in fact, employ it in those instances. When you see a child, and it's natural for kids to have fears of simple things, like let's say the child wants to go off the diving board because his friends are, but is afraid to do so. Then all of a sudden, the day comes when that child steps up and jumps into the air and falls into the water and comes up with a big smile because they have conquered that fear. And then, of course, they want to do it over and over again because it's a lot of fun and they realize what they've been missing. Now, is it all right for us to call a child out or anybody about their fear? You've got to do that very, very cautiously because, for one thing, it generally doesn't work. And it's probably disrespectful too in most instances because the fear is a very private matter and it's up to the person to work through it. Now, can we provide counsel if they want it? Sure, we can do that. But in the case of a child, probably patience is far better virtue in helping them get past that fear and then enjoying the triumph of overcoming it. Fear, again, can be a tool for us to use to avoid making big mistakes, being exploited, being harmed, being endangered, maybe even being killed. But we've got to be careful about how we use it in many other instances so as not to deprive ourselves of the most wonderful joys of living.